Hello, children. This is Jimmy. He's an ordinary kid just like you, except worse.
Who said that?
No need for answers, young one. Have you been vaccinated for smallpox?
No.
Well, Jimmy, you have a lot to learn today, right, children? Smallpox is a contagious disease that is spread easily through breathing 6 feet away from a person or contact with another person. This disease is a very serious case. First, a virus called the variola virus invades the cells lining the throat, causing one to have a sore throat. Then the virus hijacks the cellular machinery to multiply into millions of smallpox viruses. Finally, the cells explode, releasing smallpox bombs that can infect other cells in the body. After a week, the person gets a high fever and eventually will grow various blisters, also known as the centrifugal rash.
I don't get it.
Basically, getting smallpox is bad. You'll cough, then spread a virus, then get a high fever, and finally some blisters.
I see. But what is this medicine for this disease like? Is it like cough syrup? I hate cough syrup.
Cool story, bro, but this medicine is a vaccine, not a cough syrup. The cowpox plus vaccine was created by William Jenner when he had come to realize that dairy maids who had contracted cowpox were protected from smallpox. He tested this hypothesis by placing a droplet of cowpox pus on a boy's arm from a blister of a dairy worker. After a few months, Jenner scratched the boy's arm with pus from a smallpox, and the boy was not infected. Through this experiment, he came up with the first vaccine and the method of vaccination, the practice of infecting a person with a mild/harmless virus in order to strengthen one's immunity to a similar or same virus. Donated from the smallpox eradication program of the Soviet Union, Vaccinia, the smallpox vaccine used nowadays, is a pox virus closely related to smallpox. Vaccinia is now used instead of cowpox pus because although it infects people, it rarely makes people sick. When one would take the shot, he or she would develop a single pustule on his or her arm leading to a blister. Although many fell sick with the fever, their immune system strengthened. Since the shot can expire, taking another shot after a few years will prevent one from contracting smallpox.
Ew, I don't like needles and shots.
Do you want to die?
Is that your question?
No, you don't. I'm making the decision for you now.
Girl, where can I find more information about this disease?
Perfect question, Jimmy. There's this novel called The Demon in the Freezer. In this novel, you will learn the successes of protecting many countries from smallpox thanks to Edward Jenner, creator of the vaccine, Peter Jarling and John Huggins, helpers of the smallpox monkey lab, Carl Richter, researcher in the 2001 anthrax attacks, and so forth.
Whoa! Monkeys! What is that about?
Mentioned in the book, the monkey model experiment was created by Peter Jarling and John Huggins and was the first animal model to test smallpox. The first experiment was an utter failure, but the second experiment was conducted with 2 strains of smallpox, the Indian strain and the Harper strain. Upon experimenting, 7 out of 8 monkeys died. Overall, the study provided scientists with the ability to understand more about smallpox now that they could test on monkeys, which will lead to even more advanced vaccines that scientists will create and even more research about the variola disease. Just in case smallpox is spread, you can learn everything in this book. Look at it.
Ew, it's long and doesn't have a lot of pictures. And last question, voice in the sky. What science curriculum do you relate smallpox to, and the events from the Demon Freezer to?
Excellent yet random question, Jimmy. Well, smallpox relates to gene alterations. It alters the genes by reproducing in something called a host. For example, human cells inject their DNA into a host, which causes the host to produce more smallpox. After doing so, smallpox leaves a variety of bad symptoms on the cell and continues to spread to other nearby cells until it has taken over all of the organism's cells. To mutate, smallpox can fragment, meaning it will break its own DNA and reassemble it differently. Thus, the genes are mutated. Next, smallpox relates to evolution. Pox viruses have evolved despite low mutation rates and encoded a variety of genes that help them to counter host immune defenses and promote infection. Pox viruses have evolved to overcome PKR by encoding 2 genes, K3L and E3L, which thwart host defense mechanisms that normally prevent viral infection. 2 genes the pox virus at origin would have never learned how to overcome. Some have been able to become drug resistant. In fact, studies suggest that despite their nature, gene expansions may provide a potent means of adaptation in pox viruses, allowing them to survive either immune or pharmacological challenges. Thus, smallpox relates to evolution. They are evolving and the pox is finding ways to manage through its host.
Now what?
Get a vaccine!
Okay, voice, but I think I'm getting a cough and a fever and blisters and ah!
So you see, children, get a vaccine. If a smallpox invasion ever does occur, you will not want to become like Jimmy.